On the morning of October 11th, 2025, at 9:39 a.m., West Yorkshire Police received a call reporting a serious assault at HMP Wakefield, the UK's highest security prison for male offenders, popularly known as the Monster Mansion. By the time emergency services arrived, 48-year-old Ian David Watkins, once the electrifying frontman of the Welsh rock band Lostprophets, was announced dead. Sources confirm he had been fatally stabbed and his throat slashed in a targeted attack during the morning unlock period. Two fellow inmates aged 25 and 43 were swiftly arrested on suspicion of murder, and a full homicide investigation was launched by the Homicide and Major Inquiries team. While an official post-mortem has not been released, prison intelligence and inmate testimonies suggest that this was not a random act of violence but a deliberate execution, one that Watkins himself had predicted years earlier. Chances someone will sneak up behind me and cut my throat, you just do not see it coming. This was a famous quote after his arrest. This violent end closes a harrowing chapter in British true crime history. A descent from global stardom to unspeakable depravity, systemic police failure, and an ultimate retribution within the very institution meant to contain society's most dangerous. But how did we get here? Born on July 30th, 1977 in Pontypridd, Wales, Ian Watkins cultivated an image of a disciplined artistry. He is the charismatic lead singer of Lostprophets, which was formed in 1997. He helped propel the band to international prominence during the post-grunge metal crossover era. Their 2004 sophomore album, Start Something, became a commercial juggernaut, selling over 800,000 copies in the UK alone and more than 500,000 in the United States, where it peaked at number 33 on the Billboard 200. Globally, the band moved between 5 and 10 million records. The 2006 follow-up, Liberation Transmission, debuted at number 1 on the UK albums chart and achieved gold certification domestically, selling approximately 100,000 copies in Britain. The band headlined Wembley Arena, played major festivals, and were hailed as Wales' most successful rock export since the Manic Street Preachers. Publicly, Watkins projected a straight-edge persona, claiming to abstain from drugs and alcohol before performances to deliver peak energy on stage. Privately, however, the facade crumbled. By the mid-2000s, bandmates reported escalating cocaine and crystal meth usage, leading to multiple interventions. The fracture became irreparable during a chaotic 2012 performance in Cardiff, where bassist Richard Richardson physically assaulted Watkins mid-show, symbolizing the band's implosion. What no one knew, not the fans, not the bandmates, and not even the police, was that Watkins' addiction had metastasized into something far darker. Watkins' arrest in September 2012 stemmed not from child protection efforts, but from a routine drug warrant executed at his Pontypridd residence. During the search, officers seized digital devices that revealed a trove of evidence so grotesque it stunned investigators. Videos of Watkins engaging in sexual acts with infants, texts instructing mothers to abuse their own children on camera, and plans to prostitute an 11-month-old baby to wealthy men were just some of the despicable things found. In September 2013, at Cardiff Crown Court, Watkins pleaded guilty to 13 counts of child sexual offenses, including attempted rape of a child under the age of 13, rape of a child under 13, conspiracy to rape, multiple counts of possessing and distributing indecent images of children, 1 count of possessing extreme pornography involving an animal. 2 women, mothers of the victims and former romantic partners of Watkins, also pleaded guilty and received sentences of 14 and 17 years respectively. Sentencing Watkins to a total of 35 years, Mr. Justice Rawls delivered a historic condemnation. Quote, "This case plumbs new depths of depravity. It breaks new ground." He labeled Watkins a committed, organized pedophile with a dark and sinister side and a complete lack of remorse. Perhaps most chilling was the password found on Watkins' laptop, quote, "I fuck kids," end quote, a digital confession of how twisted he truly was. Perhaps the most damning aspect of this Watkins saga is not actually the crimes, but the institutional failure that allowed them to persist for nearly half a decade. As early as 2008, Watkins' ex-girlfriend, one Joanne Jerome, reported him to South Wales police after receiving explicit text in which he boasted of sexual encounters with underage girls. She physically handed over her phone and laptop as evidence, yet police officers dismissed her as a jealous ex, allegedly influenced by her prior work in the sex industry. In March 2012, just 6 months before his eventual arrest, a second woman came forward and informed the police that Watkins had sexually assaulted an 11-month-old boy and even provided them with his computer password, but still no formal investigation was launched. It was not until a separate drug investigation accidentally uncovered his digital archive that the authorities decided to act. In 2017, the Independent Police Complaints Commission (IPCC) concluded that South Wales Police had missed a number of opportunities to apprehend Watkins as early as 2008. The force later issued a public apology stating they were truly sorry for their failures. This negligence allowed Watkins' disgusting run of abuse to continue unchecked, potentially victimizing dozens more. Now let's talk about HMP Wakefield. It houses some of the UK's most notorious criminals, including Harold Shipman, Jeremy Bamber, and Charles Branson. For the longest time, it has been a pressure cooker of violence, but even among this population, sex offenders, particularly those who target children, occupy the lowest rank in prison hierarchy. Watkins quickly became a marked man. In 2023, he was taken hostage, beaten and stabbed with a sharpened toilet brush by 3 inmates over a £9,000 drug debt. Reports indicate he paid thousands for protection afterward, yet still remained quite vulnerable. The danger intensified in the months leading to his death. A damning report published by Inspectorate of Prisons on September 29, 2025, just 12 days before Watkins' death, found that levels of violence had increased at HMP Wakefield and that many prisoners did not feel safe, with older men convicted of sexual offenses identified as the most frequent victims. His murder was then less than a surprise than an inevitable outcome. For the remaining members of Lostprophets, Watkins' crime did not just end their career, it basically erased it. Streaming platforms scrubbed their catalog, radio stations banned their music, and fans disowned their own fandom. In 2014, the surviving members formed a new band, No Devotion, with former Thursday vocalist Jeff Rickley explicitly stating that they could never use the Lostprophets name ever again. Guitarist Lee Gaze later admitted that the trauma remains raw. Quote, "It's still painful to think about it. The band ended in the most unimaginable circumstances." The death of Ian Watkins marks more than the end of a life. It underscores a brutal truth. When institutions fail, justice sometimes arrives not through courts, but through chaos. Watkins was not just a child sex offender. He was a symbol of how fame, access, and systemic apathy can enable evil to flourish in plain sight. Now, with his name stripped from music history and his body buried in an unmarked grave, only the victim's pain remains, and the urgent demand that no one else be failed by the system the same way they were.